Hello, it's Reija and welcome to another video. Today it is time for another episode of my TBR game, The Book Board. And I would hope that that book board would be lenient on me this month because I am participating in a month-long challenge. So I should hope that the book board would show clemency towards me, but we shall see how that turns out. And yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So before we get started with another round of book board, we need to establish, did I read the last picks that book board picked for me? So did I read the book that was previously on my TBR, which was Children of Time? Did I read Children of Time? No, I did not. I just didn't have time in the month to pick it up because I had to prioritize getting schoolwork done, and I had my readathon that I was hosting and stuff, so I just didn't get to it. So I will have to move my token one tile backwards. Then, did I read my wild card, which was Daughter from the Dark by Marina and Sergei Dyachenko? I did not finish it. In fact, I started it, I was enjoying it, but then I parked it because the nihilism was getting to me. This is a book that I have to read in a certain headspace, and I just currently wasn't having it. So yeah, I didn't finish it. So I'm moving my token backwards once again. But as you can see, this token had a special caveat, which was that if I didn't finish it, I would have to unhaul a book. And that is what I have to do. I am going to unhaul Grey Sister by Mark Lawrence. I am unhauling this because I was very lukewarm about the first book. I liked it, but I didn't love it, and I was kind of like uncomfortable with some things in the book that were not due to it being grimdark or anything, but more like the writing choices and characterization were making me a bit icky. So yeah, and also I am not very happy with how Mark Lawrence handles negative criticism of his work and how he basically has a reputation of inciting doxing against bloggers and critique of his work, people who have been critical of his work. So honestly, it's not a hard decision for me to unhaul Grey Sister, so I'm going to do that. So with that out of the way, we can put these cards back in the pile and shuffle. Okay, I think that is pretty decent shuffle. Then we have to decide how many rolls there will be this time. I hope there won't be many because I am participating in a 30 manga in 30 days challenge, and it sure would be beneficial to have a small amount of book board books to go this month. So small number, please, small number. 6 rolls. That's the opposite of a small number. Okay, throw number 1. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a neutral tile. What will I get? Indie title. Crap. I'm not sure if I have many indie titles to choose from. Okay. Well, we shall see. For the prompt to read an indie title, I chose The Fairy's Tale by F.D. Lee. This is the Pathways 3 Book 1 from that series, and this is the only indie book that I own. I didn't have much choice in the matter, and from what I understand, this particular book is a sort of feminist retelling of Cinderella that may also be queer. And yeah, I hope I will like it. I'm going in with relatively little information, and I hope I will be able to tell you that I liked it. I'm keeping my spirits high and my and an open mind, you know. So hoping that this will be good. Considering that I bought it after having a conversation with the author at Dublin's Worldcon. I mean, there's a reason I bought it, right? So, you know, time to finally give it a chance and see for myself. So here goes. Throw number 2. 2. Oh, crap. So that is non-fiction, and it has to be chosen by a pet. Non-fiction chosen by a pet. Okay. And what card do we have? Non-fiction chosen by a pet. If this is a card that will contradict these two, then by the power of 2 will compel the card to be ignored. Okay, it doesn't contradict it, but non-fiction that is out of my comfort zone and picked by my pets. So I will have to choose 3 non-fiction titles that are out of my comfort zone to be chosen by my pets. Bloody hell. Okay, so I have primed the candidates. We have The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat, and then we have some non-fiction book about British undercover police, and a psychology book of Skinner. So these books are all either recommended to me by my partner or my partner's books. So they are very definitely not in my comfort zone. So let's see what the jury is going to pick. If you can hear that, that's the jury trying to bust free from the bathroom where I put them so that I could cover the books with treats. So here goes. Go forth! Go forth, my children! Tesla is arriving. Mosfet is arriving as well. What's this? What's this? There's something. What? There's books. There's something on the books. Mosfet is thinking. Mosfet is thinking. Mosfet has chosen The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat. Thank you, Sir Mosfet. You have been wonderful. Thank you. Good boy. So this is the choice. And for the non-fiction pet pick that was supposed to be out of my comfort zone, I chose, or my cats chose, The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat by Oliver Sacks. And this is basically a non-fiction, a medical non-fiction about these rare conditions that people have and how they deal with them. So it is basically like in his most extraordinary book, Oliver Sacks recounts the stories of patients lost in the bizarre, apparently inescapable world of neurological disorders. These are case studies of people who have lost their memories and with them the greater part of their pasts. So this is one of the books that my partner really likes. This is actually like his book, as were all the other choices, because
me and my partner have a very different taste in books. So what he likes is almost never something that I gravitate towards. That is true for manga, for comics, and etc. And I don't hold it against him. He doesn't hold it against me. But it's interesting. So that's why the moment the out of my comfort zone card came up, I went and looked at my partner's side of the bookshelf for the pick. So yeah. I'm still very interested to see what this is about, because this will probably be the first like medical non-fiction that I've read, aside from like Radium Girls, but I wouldn't count Radium Girls necessarily as a medical non-fiction. It's more like a legal battle thing. But yeah, really intrigued to pick this one up.
Throw number 3. 2. 1, 2. Okay, thanks a lot. That means that I have to start another. I have to add another throw. So that's 7 books. Okay, what card do we have? Neurodiverse. So it has to be a book with neurodiverse representation. Okay, that doesn't sound too bad. It can be anything as long as it has neurodiverse rep.
So for neurodiverse read, I chose An Unkindness of Ghosts by River Solomon. This is a science fiction book about a generation ship that has a class structure that is modeled after the antebellum South, and the main character of this book is on the autism spectrum, as from what I understand, as is the author. So yeah, I have tried to read this book once before. I was trying to read the Finnish translation, but I didn't quite gel with the translation because the original text is written in African American vernacular English, and to be honest, the translator didn't really bring that across very well in the text, so the text felt very clunky and off to me. And having read Kersti Juva's amazing translation of The Color Purple, I know what a good translation to Finnish of African American vernacular English looks like. So I am pretty comfortable saying that the translation was at fault, not the actual text. So I am trying again in English this time and reading the original text on ebook. So yeah, An Unkindness of Ghosts by Reverse Solomon is my pick for neurodiverse read.
4 throws to go. Throw number 4. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, what do we have? Wildcard. Thank the Lord. So this means I can pick anything. So I will probably be using this to throw in some of the manga that I have to read anyway. Thank God.
And my wildcard pick is a manga, the 8th volume of Delicious in Dungeon by Ryoko Kui. This is on my manga challenge TBR, so obviously I had to use my wildcard for this because I'm reading so much manga that I needed to get one book of the list and substitute it with like something that's already on my challenge TBR, so this is it. I've been really enjoying this manga. It is funny. It is epic, it has wonderful lore and world building, and also the characters are great, and the art is fantastic. So, yeah. I can't wait to do a full series review of this once I'm up to date with all the current English translations.
Throw number 5. 3. 1, 2, 3. So we start again. Science fiction. And indigenous science fiction. Okay.
For the prompt of reading an indigenous science fiction book, I had to go on a little bit of an internet research rabbit hole because for the life of me, I couldn't think of indigenous science fiction. I was only like thinking of fantasy and horror. But then I found Robopocalypse by Daniel H. Wilson. Daniel H. Wilson is a Cherokee author, and this book is basically about a robot uprising. And I don't know much more than that, but I want to know more. And this is also another ebook that I'm reading. So yeah, I hope it is good, and I hope I get to it.
And because we are starting again, this means that all of these prompts have to be taken out and replaced. And we will have to decide how many prompts there will be on the board. 7. So there will be 7 prompts placed on the board. Okay, I took the time to generate some random numbers and distributed all the tokens to their new correct places. And now we can continue on. We have 2 throws left. 1. Okay, card. Favorite author. Thank you. A favorite author can mean anyone. Who is my favorite author who I have enjoyed many books from? So yeah, I can choose any book by a favorite author. Thank you.
For the prompt of favorite author, I went with The Ice Dragon by George R.R. Martin. So this is a children's picture book, a sort of like a fable told to children that tells the story of this ice dragon which befriends this girl. And I love George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series. So he is a favorite author of mine. Yeah, considering how many books there are going to be on my TBR, I decided that heck, I'm just going to pick something short. And this is also the illustrated version that has been illustrated by Luis Royo. And it will be interesting to see how Luis Royo has illustrated this, considering that I mostly know Luis Royo from his like covers for the Heavy Metal magazine and like a bunch of these erotic, sexy calendars that he has done. So I'm interested to see how that translates to a sort of children's fairy tale.
And the very last throw for this month. 3. 1, 2, 3. Comics. Okay? Own voices.
For the prompt to read an Own Voices comic, I chose Immortal Souls, Power and Magic, the Queer Witch comic anthology. And this is essentially all about queer witches who, and these stories have been told by queer people of color. Yeah, and I have kickstarted a bunch of these by now, and I'm very excited to finally be reading these. Like, I've been basically hoarding every single collection that this creative team has put out, but I haven't actually read any of them yet, so might as well start. And there you have it. These are all of the books that the book board picked for me, plus 2 ebooks, and yeah, I sincerely hope that I will be able to get through all of these, and that I will enjoy all of these, but I have my doubts, considering that I also have to read this huge pile of manga this month, and work on my portfolio and school assignments. So if you don't hear from me in May, just assume that I was crushed under all of these books and also the enormous responsibilities in my real life. So yeah, this is going to be fun. And as you saw, I actually got through the board this month. So I would like you to give me suggestions in the comments about possible rewards I could give myself if I do a full circuit around the board, and or if I manage to fully complete my TBR. I know that last month I didn't actually fully complete my TBR, but in the off chance that in future months I will complete my bookboard TBR, I would like to know if you have any suggestions for possible rewards that I could give myself to, for a job well done. So yeah, if you got this far in the video, please leave me a dice emoji as usual in a bookboard video, and tell me in the comments which of these books seems most interesting to you. And I will see you in another video very soon. Bye bye!